I have this weird glitch in my brain where if I have a piece of information that I think might help you, I have to say it out loud.
Our wonderful guest today is Jenny Hagel.
Hi!
You have a book coming out on June 2nd, Advice No One Asked For.
The more you can write, the less you will care. Going to the funeral is more important than you think. Your value is not your productivity. If you wear black on an airplane, you will come off that airplane looking fresh.
Have you always been given advice?
When I was in kindergarten, they had a parents' day, and in the middle of that, I raised my hand and corrected my teacher's grammar in front of all the parents. Yeah, I'm bossy, but not like in a charming way.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to In the Mud podcast. While others celebrate the wins,
We celebrate the mud. I'm Alex Cumin,
I'm Drew King.
and I just found out that our guest doesn't like dessert, so I have some feelings about that. But our wonderful guest today is Jenny Hagel.
Hi!
Yes! I love Jenny. Is the smartest, funniest woman on the planet and the kindest, and is helping me write my solo show, and boy, oh boy,
my God, I
deserves
can't
a Medal
wait.
of Honor for that.
And hates cookies.
And hates cookies.
That's not true. I'll eat a sugar cookie, I'll eat a snickerdoodle, but I really am not a dessert person.
Snickerdoodle's my favorite.
Snickerdoodle is
Okay.
the king of cookies.
It's the king of cookies.
People don't talk enough about them.
I completely
but
agree.
not a perfect chocolate chip. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna move on from that because I can't.
My
really
hot
wrap
take is
brain
that
around-
chocolate is garbage.
That is a hot take.
Yeah.
Cut the cameras.
Get out.
Get out.
Get out.
This is over.
You have an incredible resume, Emmy-nominated. You write and perform on Late Night with Seth Meyers. You started the Jokes Seth Can't Tell recurring bit, which is so fun. 2 Emmys?
One, but
One.
it's a sports Emmy.
Okay, sports Emmy. You're amazing. You're a head writer on the Amber Ruffin Show when that was running. You're a fucking comedy writer extraordinaire. And you have a book coming out on June 2nd, Advice No One Asked For. It's a fucking hilarious book of essays that are that hit, that like really slam. I was reading it and I was like, yes. Like, it's so good. We're going to talk a little bit about the book today, but also we're going to talk about just like advice and giving advice in general. When did you start giving advice? Have you always been given advice?
Yeah, I'm bossy, and that's not, but not like in a charming way. The earliest story I know of me giving advice is when I was in kindergarten, they had a parents' day where the parents could come in and watch the teacher teach a class.
Oh.
And in the middle of that, I raised my hand and corrected my teacher's grammar in front of all the parents, like a full piece of shit.
I love you for that, actually.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing.
And the worst part is like it was correct. And so like that's even worse. But yeah, so I think I just always have had this thing in me where and I say this, like I do a live show where I give advice, and I always say this in the intro, like it's not because I'm like condescending or I think I'm like I know better than anyone or I'm smarter than anyone. It really is just that I have this weird glitch in my brain where if I have a piece of information that I think might help you, I have to say it out
I
loud.
have to let you know.
I have to.
That's amazing, though. You've had a lot of life experience. You've done a lot. Like, I didn't realize when I was reading through the travel essay, or like when you've done all like the Costa Rica thing,
Yes.
like that you've done a lot of travel. Being in the comedy world is also just insane. The range of experiences that you go through. You were in the touring company at Second City.
Yeah,
so
I
you were
went
like,
to
No
38.
way.
Yeah, when I toured with Second City for 3 years, I performed in 38 states and then did a USO tour to Bosnia and Kosovo. So I feel like I also just saw, if you take just even the comedy out of it, I saw so much of the United States in those 3 years, like big cities, small towns, colleges. I saw like how people lived and what they were talking about in all these different places. It was such a cool experience.
Do you have any specific memories or standouts from the U.S. tour?
Absolutely. I toured in the early 2000s before smartphones. And so I feel really lucky that I toured then because it was, first of all, a very analog experience.
Yeah.
And because I really feel like I saw everything because my face wasn't in my phone. Like I toured at like the beginning of clamshell phones. It's like, so yeah.
It's a razor.
Flip.
Not even.
Oh.
The razor was not out yet.
Ooh.
And that's real because I remember when people started getting razors and it was not then. So we would get a printout, a physical piece of paper at the beginning of the week, and it would tell us where we were going and it would have our itinerary, and we would get it, and then we would always be like, oh yes, we're going to California, or like, oh God, we're going to Arkansas.
Yeah.
And what I loved about it is I was so often surprised. So many surprises. One of the best trips we had was Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Who knew? It's
Wow.
gorgeous. It's really liberal. Like some hippies went and settled there like 2 generations ago, and then they had children who were liberal. Now everybody there is like, it's like this really cool, very beautiful mountain oasis in the middle of Arkansas. Every corner of North Carolina I saw was beautiful. Like
Yeah.
one of the prettiest states. Who knew? It's
Yeah.
not,
Beautiful state.
we're not talking enough about it.
Quite frankly, Wilmington deserves to be front page news.
Wilmington, I mean,
Wilmington
please, where every
rips.
moment of One Tree Hill was shot. Tell people.
Oh, I love Wilmington.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so good.
Wilmington's gorgeous. But yeah, I think that was what I loved is it really taught me to reserve judgment because so many times I got on a plane being like, ugh,
Yeah.
and then ended up coming back being like, what a charming corner of the world.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a really good lesson in and of itself.
Totally. That's the thing I'm trying to be better about is like assuming that I know what the situation's going to be and bringing whatever bullshit energy I have about it into the space. And when you get proven wrong for stuff like that, it's awesome and it's such a nice surprise. But it's like, why didn't I just like enter with good vibes? Why didn't I enter with the assumption that it would be fun or
For
cool
sure, yeah.
or the people
That's right.
there would be welcoming or like whatever it is?
I've been trying to have that energy on first dates also. Because I think
yeah.
it's so easy to walk in and be like, this isn't going to be good.
I know what this is going to be.
Or to get your hopes up and then you're like, this person's boring. Like, I really have tried to be like, hey, well, you don't know who somebody is online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what you see online.
Yeah.
And just try to walk in with like an open mind. I try to be open-minded about people,
Yeah.
about places. But it's definitely taken me like all of adulthood to get there.
It takes fucking forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the term. I read the term pronoia recently, which is like, so paranoia is like the everyone's out to get me. And then pronoia is like, the assumption that everyone there like likes you and wants you to be there.
Oh my God, how do you get
That's
that? Is there a
beautiful.
pill for it?
I
Yeah,
would-
right.
If there's
I need
a
that
pill for
pill.
that, I would like to take it.
Yeah,
That's a
I
Black
need
Mirror
it.
episode waiting
That
to
is a Black
happen.
Mirror.
Oh my God,
But
I
it
want to
wouldn't-
catch
yeah.
pronoia so
I
bad.
know, right?
Truly.
I know.
But yeah, I
Infect
think that's it,
me.
right? Like, how do you shift into like, I'm going to assume everything's going to be great? Or like you were saying, or I just walk in neutral and let myself actually really take in what's happening versus
Yeah.
coming in with preconceived ideas.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
actually a core tenet of gratitude. We had a gratitude episode with a friend of ours, but also my brother is a huge gratitude practitioner. And that is actually one of the things he always says to me whenever I'm anxious about like, what if it doesn't work out or what if they don't like me or blah, blah, blah. He's like, what if it's all great and it's all going to be just fine? And I'm like, oh.
And you wasted all this energy.
And I wasted
worrying.
all this energy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's a really good thing. He was like, just walk into every experience expecting that everything is going to work out and it's all going to be great.
What a lovely
I know. Beautiful.
shift
Pronoia.
what a lovely shift in like your framing. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your brother sounds very healthy and happy.
He is. He's dynamite. You would fucking love him.
And the thing is, everyone hates him, but he does not know.
Yeah.
Because he has pronoia. Yeah. Yes. He walks in a room and everybody behind his back is like, what a
Have you heard of toxic pronoia? Yeah. He's taken it too far. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it, man.
He's
Things are
blind
good.
to how much everyone hates him.
But he's loving it. He's loving life.
He's thrilled. He's so happy.
Oh, God. I
Toxic
love that.
pronoia. I love that. That's so silly.
Well, I feel like this is a good dovetail into like the comedy world too. Because one of the essays that I loved from this, well, they're all great, but one of the ones I loved was about when you pitch, you win, right? And you have this line, and I'm just going to read it because I didn't memorize it.
I've never been quoted to
unfortunately.
myself.
Well,
this is exciting.
watch out. When you're a comedy writer, there's one thing that becomes a constant part of your life: rejection. There's more to it that I want to get to in a sec, but I do want to talk about this. How do you deal with the amount of rejection that you get as a comedy writer? How do you deal with that?
Give us advice. We need it.
Advice.
I think really what the thing that helps is just the quantity. Like
Yeah.
if you experience rejection and then you go right back. Well, first of all, if you get rejected and then you realize like, oh, I'm still alive.
I'm still.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I think every comedian, the best thing could happen to you early in your career is to eat it really hard in front of a bunch of people. Because then you wake up the next morning, you're still alive, you're still breathing, and all your little comedy friends still like you. And that is crazy. When you experience that, you're like, oh, it's okay. It's okay to mess up. Like you could eat it for a whole performance or you could eat it for one joke and then find out that the audience is still laughing at the next joke and it's fine. Like they don't hate me. It's the best thing that can happen because then you realize you're not going to die. Because I think that's the thing that keeps people afraid of trying comedy, afraid of trying with their comedians, afraid of trying a new thing. Is you're like, well, what if it fails? And it's like, who cares? Like it's actually fine. It ends
Fear
up
of the
being
worst case scenario.
Yeah. One of the best things that happened to me is at Late Night with Seth Meyers, the folks who write, we're split into like a sketch writing team and a monologue team. And the folks who write monologue jokes there are so sharp. They are just the funniest people.
Could you actually? Sorry to interrupt,
please.
but I feel like the a lot of people who are not in the comedy world have no sense of like what goes on in a writer's
I have
room.
no idea.
Yeah,
Talk
could
to
you
me.
give like a just like what it's like to like either day in the life or like what it's like to work there behind the scenes?
Sure. I mean, I think it depends. Like, so we have a sketch writing team, and then I mean, it's sometimes it's different week to week, but typically, like what used to happen, especially before the pandemic, we were on more of a regular schedule. Everybody who wanted to turn in a sketch would turn one in by I think like Wednesday at 6 p.m. And then we would have a table read on Thursday. We would sit around and read all the sketches people turned in. So that was like the life of a sketch writer. And then if one of your sketches is chosen, then you go through all of the steps to bring it to production, right? Like you know what day it's going to air. So you're talking to the wardrobe department, you're talking to props, you're doing rewrites. If there's graphics involved, like they go over somebody's shoulder, you're talking to the graphics department. So you're kind of getting ready, like, okay, next week we're doing the sketch I wrote. So let me go around and like get all the little elements in place. It needs a sound effect. Let me ask the department that does that to send me like 10 bubble noises, and I'll listen to like these and I'm like, oh, okay, that was the right one.
That was a great bubble noise.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So also a Foley artist.
I was just gonna say you need to get into Foley work.
So that's kind of what sketch writers do. Monologue writers have a much more regimented life. Like there's 2 mono deadlines a day, so you'll get like a packet of setups in the morning, and you'll have like 2 hours to write.
Wow.
But depending on the time of day, let's say like 2 pages of jokes, for example, and you turn in those 2 pages, and then from that our head writer goes through all of them and chooses, and then like there'll be another deadline in the evening, and from that like from those 2 packets our head writer will like choose the judge to the monologue. So especially with monologue writing, you are writing so many jokes for so little like return.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just a numbers game. So we have a smaller staff now than when I started, but when I first started I think there were 6 people writing monologue jokes plus our head writer. We'd each write about 200 jokes a week. I was on the monologue team for 6 years, and I would say I was probably the least prolific, but I would get on maybe like 4 jokes a week. So that's 196 jokes in the trash. But the thing is, I still worked there, and nobody was like greeting me the next day like I was a failure. You're like, oh, this is just part of it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like that made me not feel emotionally attached to anything I write. And I don't mean that in like my creative spirit is dead. I mean in that like I can separate my self-worth from something I'm writing. I can sit down and be like, oh, this is a piece of writing I'm doing. This isn't me. My worth is not here.
I'm so can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I'm so curious about I worked on a Broadway show out of town that then transferred to Broadway, and the main writer, the book writer for the show, is a comedian. He's very funny. His name is Robert Horn, but he had like joke after joke after joke after joke after joke after joke. And then when we moved to Broadway, they were like, cut this, cut this, cut this, cut this. We threw a whole party, and we had like a Halloween party. There were little graves, and it had all the dead jokes on it.
Great.
But he then had a show came out 3 or 4 years after that, and there were like 10 jokes from the show that I did that were cut that he reinserted into this other show. Do you ever get to repurpose the 196 jokes that went in the trash, or do you just throw them out, or do you keep them in like a binder and like?
I have them all on my hard drive, but I will say, like, first of all, almost all of them are based on news events.
Okay.
So they're so topical. But also I try to like live by this mantra that jokes are free. And that helps me cut them and be like, great, you want to cut that joke? Behind it is another joke. Like I write jokes for a living. That is what my brain does. So instead of trying really, really hard, exerting the effort to figure out how to reinsert this joke I wrote into a new context, let me just show up to that new context fresh and write a new joke that fits that context. That's how I work. Especially because, like I said, like so many of the things that I write are based on news events.
Yeah.
Right.
So it just doesn't quite, not only a news event, but it's written in a particular moment in time. So there's not just the event, but there's like how we're all feeling that
The
week.
zeitgeist and like
Right,
what's
like-
the tension.
That's
and, like,
right.
Yeah.
What
yeah,
you
yeah.
might write, for example, we're in the middle of, I would say, a huge immigration crisis right now. But we have been for years. And what I might have written 6 years ago about immigration will feel different, even if the words technically right. Like it's going to ring differently. We feel differently right now. And I think that's also a thing that just doesn't translate. So I think I've just learned to let those things go. And that it feels good. It feels, you just tell yourself, like, look, if I can write 196 jokes in a week, I can write another one.
Yeah. That's the thing I need to work on, is equating like the joke with my worth, or whatever, substitute joke with literally anything, right? Like if I made it and you don't like it, do you not like me? Am I bad, or am
Now,
I
see,
not
that's-
creative? And like that, I don't even know where that comes from, but it's gotta go. I'll tell you what.
It's tough.
To me, I think it came from volume. The more that you write, the less each thing you write matters. Like if
That-
you write 2 things a year and one of them gets rejected, you have 50% fail rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you write 1,000 things in a year and 2 of them get rejected, or even half of them, you're like, man, I wrote 500 good things. Like
yeah.
it just, each one has a less weight. And I think that's
Yeah.
the best thing. And when younger writers who are starting out ask me for advice, I'm like, the more you can write, the less you will care. And I don't know how to I don't mean that in a bad
Wow.
way. I just mean that like you'll write it and you'll be passionate about why you're writing it, and then you'll just be on to the next.
Yeah. Which opens you up for more opportunity to keep exploring and keep writing instead of being
Yeah.
defeated and shutting down.
That's right.
It's the same thing with auditioning. I spent most of my career as a dancer, but with auditioning, I felt more at ease with my audition process when I didn't get jobs, when I was going to an audition every day. If I went to one audition a month, it was like, I need that fucking
That's it.
job.
Yeah.
That's
And it was
right.
So
Yeah.
the stakes were so high. But if you're
it.
going every day, you're like, I don't know, something's gonna hit. Whatever.
That's it.
Just
Yeah.
keep going.
That's exactly it. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I love that. Did it feel different writing this? Like, was it difficult writing a book of essays that you knew was going to be published versus like the monologue joke writing that you do or the sketch writing that you do? Like, how was the process of writing a book?
That's a great question. The main way that it was different is that this is the least seen thing I have written before I put it out in the world, because it's 230 some odd pages. And so like, it's one thing, like I write sketches and I have a million friends who write sketches. So if I write a sketch and I want some feedback on it, I have a million friends I can send it to and be like, hey, can you take a look at this real quick and just let me know if you think this works? And they might look at it and be like, yep, just send it back to you. And it'll be like, this is good, but I would cut this, move this here, and blah, blah, blah. And that takes 2 seconds because it's 4 pages long.
Right.
And it's a different kind of ask to ask a friend, hey, could you real quick read 235 pages for me?
Real quick.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
Like my friends are busy. They're grown-up adults with
Yeah.
jobs and families. So no one has time for that. So I did ask 2 friends to read it, and they read it and gave me some feedback. But I also don't have a million friends who write prose, who write essays and books.
Right.
So I didn't really have the same kind of network.
Yeah.
So I want to say, Alex, you might be like the 9th person to read this because Alex got an advance copy. I'm not kidding.
An
I'm
honor.
really not
I
kidding.
loved it. I actually felt so cool. I was like on the train reading it, and I had it folded over at one point, and then I was like, no, you know what? People need to
Let people
see,
know.
because it says Advanced Readers Edition, not for sale or quotation, and I was like, the people need to see this.
Yeah.
So, but I think that
I
feels
love
very vulnerable
this.
because I'm like, I don't know, man, maybe it sucks because it hasn't been vetted the way that a lot of my other writing go. And or at late night when you
Yeah.
write it, or at any TV show, it goes through a boss and then their boss, and then it goes through this and that, and then goes through drafts. And so I think this went through drafts, but it was more of a closed loop. So that feels a little bit like more vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's so good though, and it's so your voice.
Oh, that's lovely.
like
Thank
it's
you.
so. Oh my god, that's funny. There's Oreos in there from when I was eating an Oreo
Great.
while I read it.
It's interactive.
It's your bookmark. An edible bookmark.
Oh, this is funny that I just opened right to this page because we were talking about this yesterday. Do you have any like favorite essays in here, or like I know the ones that stuck out for me, but yesterday we were talking about procrastination. Talk to us about how procrastination has shown up in your life, especially as someone who has to write 200 jokes a week. Like, even hearing that you are a procrastinator is like, oh, whoa, what? Like that? No.
Imagine what I could accomplish if I wasn't.
Yeah.
That's what we all that says every procrastinator
Right,
ever.
exactly.
Yep.
But it's so funny because all of these, so you have advice for overcoming procrastination. Set a timer, right? So just set a timer and do it in that time. Paint your nails, which I literally did yesterday as I was like sitting at my computer. Put your phone on airplane mode. Order takeout, and then in the time that it comes to get to your door, you have the you have
Isn't
to
that a
complete
great
the
one?
task.
So who taught me that is Ashley Nicole Black. She's a really successful comedian and TV writer.
She's
But
great.
it was like, because what I love about it is then you get a reward at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great, not so much for writing, at least for me, but for like a household task. Like you have a pile of mail you mean to go through.
Yeah.
You have some dishes. You have a pile of laundry. Order takeout, and then you just have this done by the time the takeout arrives.
I love that.
It's such
It's
a good,
so good.
it just is a finite amount of time that you can
Yeah.
handle versus, at some
so
point
much to
today,
do,
I have
yeah.
to do this laundry. Like, no.
Well, because
15
also
minutes.
those tasks take 6 minutes, maybe.
But they'll weigh on you for 3 days.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I love that. So order takeout, choose a reward, and then have an accountability buddy. And literally all of these, I think I did like most of these yesterday. And you've been my accountability buddy for the show I'm trying to write. But I love how the book is set up where like you write you'll write the essay about the thing. You have like these really great personal stories, but then you give the advice at the end. I also love the wedding toast one. I loved all of them.
Oh, thank
but
you.
at the end, you have the little checklist.
This is so smart.
I know. This is really,
It's
this is
really
so stupid.
smart.
But my other pathology is that I'm obsessed with, like, nothing lights up my brain like finding out someone took a piece of advice. Like the fact that yesterday Alex and I were texting and she was talking about how she was having trouble writing something. And I was like, paint your nails. And she sent me back a photo of her painted nails. And you don't
Show
even
the cam.
know.
Show the cam.
If they had done an x-ray of my brain, it would have been like, like
Yeah,
it makes me
lit
so
up.
happy to know if someone took my advice. It just
Oh,
makes
I
me
love
feel
that.
good. And so
Yeah.
at the end of the book, I put this form for people to fill out and to let me know if they took any of the advice. And then my hope is that they'll either like post it on social media and tag me, or there's an email address that they can send it to if they feel shy about social media. And
Yeah.
I just want to know. I just want to know if any of it was helpful, just for my own personal little adrenaline rush.
I love it.
I love these. Can I read? I want to
Please.
read these because I think these are what the chapters are about. But okay. So the wedding toast template is perfect because it's a very clear, it's like an actual,
It's like here's the markers you have to hit when making a wedding toast.
we've all been to the wedding where the person
Kelly and
thinks
I have known each other.
My particular beef is that I think we have entered this really awful era of the funny wedding toast.
Yes.
I think that everybody thinks a wedding toast is supposed to be funny.
And everyone's trying to one up each other and go viral.
And I don't like that for a couple reasons. Number one, not everybody has that skill. But number two, and most importantly, it's not your day.
Yeah.
And I don't know where we got this idea that you are supposed to be hilarious at someone else's wedding.
Good point.
But it's not about you.
Yeah.
And so one thing I say in the book is like, there's two possible outcomes. It goes really well, and then you're all anybody's talking about. Or it goes really badly, and you're all anyone's talking about. But either way, you're not what we're supposed to be talking about. We're supposed to be talking about the people getting married.
Yeah.
So please stop giving a funny wedding toast. Stop being afraid of your feelings and actually write a real sincere toast. If you know someone well enough that they asked you to give a toast, then you know them well enough that you probably have some things you want to say about them.
Yeah.
So take that opportunity.
Yeah.
Please don't do a roast. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
nobody wants it.
Nobody wants it.
And you include in the book, you have to buy the book to find it.
Yeah, that's right. I made
You
a
include,
template.
it's like
love
an
it.
actual template, and it's so perfect. Okay, so that's
Is
one.
it like a Mad Libs?
Kind of.
A little bit.
Insert
It's
now.
it's
A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that could be a fun wedding toast Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Ice cream out of bananas is great.
I've done that. It's actually pretty delicious.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
We love
Uh-huh.
it. I called my mom. I loved this chapter. I love this one.
Oh.
So, sorry.
Well, my mom's dead.
Sorry.
So, whatever.
Dead mom. But it was good because the standout for me was the booger in the hand.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just basically about how, like, it's 5 very quick stories about times when I had to touch something gross because I was a mom. And then at the end of it, it's like, look, I don't know what your relationship is with your mom. I don't know if she's around. I don't know if you guys are close. But if she's alive and you're even a little close, just call her and say thanks, because probably at some point she touched something disgusting.
Disgusting out of your body.
Yeah. And it was your fault. So just call and say thanks.
Yeah.
Just
I
call
love
and
that.
say thanks.
Take the first flight of the day.
Have to.
Have to every
I'm
time.
with you on that.
Yeah.
Totally
Every
with
time.
you on that.
I stopped doing something overseas when I realized I would never be allowed to do it in the U.S. I love
Wait,
this.
break that down.
A fail-safe way to know if you are doing something too dangerous is if you are in another country and right before you do it, you think, this is awesome. They would never let me do this in the U.S. Then it's too dangerous and get off that zip line / out of the pit of sharks or whatever it is you're about to do.
I was at a wedding in the middle of Thailand, nowhere. They didn't even have like electricity or running water. And we were at this wedding, and the wedding guests were trying to get us, the Americans, to eat like their beef tartare that they had. And they were like, eat the beef tartare. And it's like 101 degrees outside. And I was like, yeah. And my team leader was like, absolutely not. You cannot do that. Absolutely not. You will die. And I was like, yeah, good point.
Good
All right.
point.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have 100-degree
Yeah.
raw beef.
No.
I got excited about turning 40. I love this because I think I was talking to some friends about this last night. I feel like right now we are seeing a real like falling of the veil about like women's perception of aging, particularly as related to Epstein stuff, and that all of the men who have been in charge of, so like Les Wexner, who is like the CEO of Victoria's Secret and Bed Bath
Great
and
documentary.
Beyond and like all that stuff, all of the beauty standards growing up were like, be like petite and be a little girl and be hairless and be tiny and show us your tits. And now there's this like kind of awakening happening of being like, oh, all the men who are in charge of the way that our beauty industry has been going, we're all pedophiles.
Yeah.
And I also, aside from all that, like in terms of aging, as like having had cancer a bunch, I love when I am around women who are not afraid of aging or are not like constantly like, "Oh, I can't believe I'm X years old." It's like, yes, that's what happens. Time happens.
Yeah.
Time is the thing that happens to our bodies. And like, it's such a privilege to age. But I love that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, too, I did not expect, because society, the media, TV, movies, articles, all they do is tell women how bad it's going to get as you get older.
Yeah.
And that's all we hear. I feel like nobody, and like, sure, there are some things with aging that like suck. Like, I've been a recreational runner my whole life. I'm a little slower every year.
Yeah.
And that's a bummer. But I think what I didn't expect, what really caught me by surprise, was that in my 40s, like, I didn't expect this like increased confidence, the increased like the way that you know yourself, the way that you walk into a room is different. Like I mentioned dating before, like the way I date as somebody in their 40s is so different than how I dated in my 20s. Like I was so worried about pleasing people.
Yeah.
I had like unrealistic ideas about how much people would change. I like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't listen to my instincts. And I think those are all things that like with age, you just settle into yourself in this really beautiful way. Also, I firmly believe people are hotter in their 40s and in their 20s, and I'll die on that hill.
I am
1,000%.
1,000% with you.
Even I look
Right?
at pictures of us in our 20s and I'm like, we are way better now.
This face
I
a thousand
both of
times.
us.
Both of
Like,
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This face 1,000 times over my 25-year-old face.
Yep.
Because I think you just, number one, you settle into yourself, and you just, I can't explain it. People's faces look like they have had some experience, and they have
Yeah.
a story to tell, and they settle into, they dress in a way that really is them versus I'm trying to dress like my friends.
Yeah.
Like you really settle into your own look and yourself. I think people in their 40s are so hot.
Yeah.
I'm with you. 40s
Fully.
and 50s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to
Even,
limit it,
even
but yeah.
60s. There's some like really hot silver daddies in their 60s that I'm like,
Silver
Yes, for
Daddy.
sure. Even I can see that.
Yeah. Love
Done.
Silver Fox.
But yeah, anyway, I really do think that, but I think nobody tells women that. So I really want to write an essay that was like, hey, if you are young and you are headed towards 40 and you're nervous about it, here's the stuff no one's telling you. Here's all the good stuff that's coming.
Well, and it's again just patriarchy. Thanks.
sorry, it's my fault.
I got an analog watch.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't wear it today just because it didn't go with my outfit. But this is a big one for me. And I did this a few years ago, and it was a real life changer. I felt like I was looking at my phone all the time.
Yeah.
Because it starts out checking the time, and then you're like, let me check a text, and then let me check the headlines, and then let me look at Instagram. And then you have lost 25 minutes, and all you did was go to check the time. So I got an analog watch maybe 10 years ago at this point. And look, am I perfect with how I use my phone? No. But it has definitely cut back on how much I use my phone, and I love it.
I also just love the look of an analog watch.
I love the look of an analog. That's a beautiful watch.
Thank you. I'm obsessed. This was my first big girl comedy purchase that I bought. I remember like scoping it out, and I remember going in and like paying with cash, and it was really nice.
I love a men's watch. I have 3 men's watches, and
Ooh.
big fan. I feel like it keeps me off my phone.
It's
love
good.
that.
We need to be off our phones. Okay. I wore black on an airplane.
You have to.
You must.
You have to, because you are going to spill something on yourself at some point.
Yeah,
You
and
are
probably
going
get
to.
sweaty.
Yes, or someone else is going to spill something on you.
Yeah.
If you wear black on an airplane, you will come off that airplane looking fresh.
Wow.
I also must ask, while we are talking airplanes,
Yes.
for both of you, what do we wear? Are we wearing, because I'm wearing comfy, I'm not doing denim. I'm doing like joggers, a
Cute.
sweatshirt. Do you guys dress up for the airport, or do you dress comfy?
I wear denim and black. So I dress in neutrals. I
Okay.
try to look halfway presentable.
Okay.
I do put on makeup, and I'm sorry to report that.
No, that's okay.
Because of the patriarchy.
Because of the patriarchy.
Patriarchy. I'm a
Thanks,
50-50.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I'll dress up, but it also, you know what? It depends on where I'm going after. If I'm just going from my apartment to plane to hotel, then I'll probably wear something more cozy.
Okay.
But if it's like I'm getting off the plane and then I'm getting dinner with people after, like
Okay.
it depends if I get to go to the hotel or not.
My other thing is I will always wear my biggest shoes. Whatever the biggest shoes are, to save space in my suitcase.
Yes.
So whatever the
Yep.
biggest shoes are, not the most comfortable, the biggest, so
Yep.
then I have more room in my suitcase.
And the bulky
That's
sweaters in my backpack. Yeah.
Okay. I reached out to a friend who was going through a tough time in an awkward but heartfelt way.
What are your
Love
thoughts
this
on
one.
this? Because you have some experience going through tough times.
I love this because you remember the people who don't reach out.
I didn't know that was
do.
true, but you do.
You do.
You
because
do.
and you appreciate the people who kind of come out of the woodwork, where you're like, oh, I didn't know that I meant that much to you, or like that you would care to even say like, hey, thinking of you. That's all it takes too. And it doesn't have to be this like big thing. It's just like, hey, I'm thinking of you and I hope you're okay. But you do know, you recognize pretty quickly, because it's usually like, the people closest to you will say something, but then when there are people that are close to you that don't say anything, you're like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we do grief badly. I think in our country we do.
Yeah.
And we don't do a good job. I don't think Americans in general are good at, for how loud we are, I don't think we're good at talking about certain things. And I think one of those is like difficult feelings. And so I think when somebody's going through a hard time, I just don't think we are a good culture at managing that. And so like I've known so many people who like skip a funeral and they're like, well, it's they don't need me there. Like, yeah, they do. I think we do a lot of avoiding grief. And so I think when somebody goes through a hard time, if they lose someone that they loved or if they are sick or whatever, I think that people don't know what to say. I don't think we have good cultural practices around it. And so because we don't have regular cultural practices around it, everybody's kind of left on their own to make up what to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that makes people stress out that they're going to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. And so then they just fall down on the job.
Yeah.
You're so good at grief.
Thanks.
You're really good friend whose parent passed recently.
Yeah.
And you like rallied immediately, rallied a group and like texted everyone and was like, no pressure. If you want to contribute even $5, I'm going to get, what was it like?
Yeah, like we definitely need to have like a packaging of grief episode.
Yeah.
We'll do that at one point. But yeah, it was, it's only because I've been through it. And I had people who did things for me that I was like, that meant so much to me. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And so I remember it and I'm like, oh, I know this will be helpful to them in this moment.
Or
one of them was,
Sorry, please.
Oh, no. We got we got our friend like a huge Uber Eats gift card. And it was like, great. If you need to like get your aunt an Uber from the airport, but you also want to buy dinner for your whole family tonight. And then you can just like give them, instead of handing them cash or Venmoing them, be like, here, this thing has a purpose, use it for what you need it for. Mm-hmm. And then if you can get to the funeral, get to the funeral.
God, right? That is so true. Go to the funeral.
You will never, ever, ever regret going to the funeral.
No, yeah. Someone close to me passed away a few years ago and I couldn't believe how optional people think funerals are.
Yeah.
That's a permanent record. Weddings and funerals, people will always know who was there and who wasn't.
Yeah.
And I get it. We can't always get to everything. But it is more, going to the funeral is more important than you think. You think,
Absolutely.
Oh, they're grieving. They're not going to notice. They don't, blah, blah, blah. Go to the funeral.
And 9 times out of 10, the grieving person is going to give you the out and be like, please, it's far away. Don't worry about it. You don't have to be there.
Don't listen to them.
Don't listen to them. Yeah. And if you are able to make it, even if it's a hassle, fuck the hassle, go to the funeral. That's my advice. Yeah.
Also, there's snacks afterwards.
Yeah. Always.
Funeral snacks are the best.
Yes.
Okay, this is back to packing. Rolling up clothes when you pack.
You got to roll
obviously.
Up your clothes when you pack.
Obviously.
Interesting.
Oh.
But actually, no, I guess I kind of do. I don't do a full roll. I do. It's like a fold.
Okay.
Do you guys know the Marie Kondo, the life-changing magic of tidying up? She has a very specific way that she folds the clothes so that like t-shirts stand right up and that you can look down and see them all in a row. Same. So I do that.
Yeah.
So all my t-shirts, my underwear, they're all like lined up, stacked like that.
In your suitcase when you
pack? In my suitcase, yeah.
Interesting.
Is that this? I guess it's almost the same way as
similar.
It's not the same at all. Please don't try to act like it's the same. You're allowed to do it.
This is not the
you
same.
can make your own choices, but that's not what I'm doing over here. I'm rolling
totally.
up my
I hear
clothes.
what you're saying.
You
and
roll up
fuck
every article.
Yeah, if it can be rolled. Like there's some things that can't be, like a giant bulky sweater, but I will roll everything and I can fit twice as much in my suitcase. And then you don't have the hard lines of having folded it, those wrinkles.
Wow. That's the real win.
All right.
I said I'll think about it and get back to you.
This is huge. I think people get put into all kinds of situations where they feel like on the spot they have to decide something while someone's looking at them.
Okay.
And I think, so that is, primarily this particular essay, when I wrote about it, I'm writing about like job interviews and how like you can be in a job interview and you're sweaty and nervous. And if someone offers you a job in the interview, it's such a high stakes adrenaline fueled situation that then you don't know what to say. And so, and that also happens like if someone asks you to a party you don't want to go to, if someone asks you for a favor, you know what I mean? Like if somebody asks you out, like there's so many situations where we are on the spot and we don't know what to say. And I think if you just have a phrase locked and loaded, if you say, you know what, let me think about it and get back to you.
Yeah.
If you can just have that ready to go, then that can buy you some time to, when there's less adrenaline, think about it.
Yeah.
And then come back with a really well thought out answer. So
That's
that was my
great.
advice, is just to remember that
great.
phrase.
We're just giving yourself distance from the thing.
Yeah.
Is so important.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily to get
Yeah.
out of things, but just so that you can give a clear-headed response.
I had an audition one time where we were dancing all day, and then we got to like what was the very like close end of the day. There were like 5 of us left, and then the producers brought us in a room, and they were like, "We've been trying to cast these tracks for months now, and people keep, turning them down. So we're casting 3 people right now, and there's 5 of you in the room. You need to be willing to sign a contract the second that we're done with this today if we make you an offer." And they were like, "And if you don't feel that way, then you have to leave the room." And I left the room, and I cried like a baby because I was like, I just gave up a great opportunity. Ended up being the best decision I ever did. But in the moment, I was like, if you're forcing me to make a decision right now,
Yeah.
and it was an 18-month
It
contract.
tells you a lot about that
Oh,
employer. It tells you
Yeah.
It also tells you a lot about their planning.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys can't figure out how to do this the
Without
industry
a
That also
standard.
means no negotiation.
You can
like
only
you're
hire
Yeah.
people with
no-
like a mild kidnapping.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like a weird hostage situation.
It felt like a
You
hostage
sign
situation.
this or you,
Yeah.
Yes.
that was
It
you
was
made a great
creepy.
choice.
You did.
Yeah,
You made a great choice.
18-month commitment, and they're like, you have to
You have to sign today
buy.
before leaving the room.
No me
yeah.
gusta.
Yeah, crazy. Welcome to musical theater.
Claro.
Claro que sí.
We met in Spain.
He told me.
talked
That's
about that, yeah.
incredible.
I love. And then, okay, our last one. I sent someone real mail. I love this.
I sent some real mail 2 days ago.
I
wow.
love sending
A
real
friend
mail.
of mine was telling me how into Bad Bunny she's been since the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
So I just printed out a picture of Bad Bunny, and then I cut out a little speech bubble that said, "What's up, mommy?" And I mailed it to her.
That's so cute.
It took 2
It
seconds.
took 2 seconds.
It's going to
and
make her laugh her ass off when she opens it. For the price of a stamp, I'm going to make my friend laugh.
It is
Wow.
I think, one of the purest joys in life to get a piece of mail and see someone's handwriting and see the name of someone you know. I
Terrible at it.
love sending mail. Wow. I'll send you some mail.
Do you all do holiday cards?
I don't do holiday cards, but I do a lot of handwritten
Okay.
letters. I do thank you notes.
Okay.
I'll do like
I'm obsessed with thank you notes. I have
I'm big on thank yous. Yeah.
a drawer in my house, and because this is also, I think, the key to doing real mail is you have to be set up to do it.
yes.
Yes.
If
yes,
you want to
yes.
do it and then you don't have any of the supplies, it becomes too much. But I have a drawer in my house that has a bunch of blank stationery, stamps.
Mm-hmm.
It's crucial.
Yep.
A couple nice pens that I like,
Yes.
and then then it's like envelopes, and it's no thing. If I have some
Yeah.
random errant thought, I was in a women's sports bar at one point, as God is my natural habitat. And this random guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, you want some soccer cards?" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "I have a bunch of women's soccer cards. I don't know where I got them, but you want them?" And it was literally like baseball cards, but women's soccer players.
Like a deck of Mia Hamm.
And I have a friend,
deck of ham.
and I have some friends who have season tickets to Chicago's team. So I just went through and pulled out all the Chicago players and dropped them in the mail to this friend because it just made me laugh. And I was like, "What a fun, weird thing to get in the mail."
So thoughtful.
Fun and weird. I love that.
But it's
I love
nothing.
it.
There's a mailbox at the end of every corner. I pass in mine every day. So
Yep.
just like, why not?
Yep. And you notice the mailbox when you start to, I know mine is on 52nd. Like I drop it at the post office. And I love being in a place and seeing a weird, wacky card or a funny card and just grabbing it and being like, I will need this someday.
For somebody.
I will need this for someone.
I've inherited my mom's bad trait, which is always buy the cards, especially when you think of someone, and never send
And
it.
never send
When
it.
she passed away, we found a box filled with cards.
What if?
Like birthday cards, Valentine's Day cards, everything cards. Never
Drew,
sent. Yes.
Drew, what if you started sending those out?
They're probably in the trash. I don't know where they are. I know. But I need to start my own collection.
Start your own collection.
I do.
Okay. This
However,
is good.
this is just a quick little interlude. That story, I will say, the day after my mom died, I was like, I need a sign from the universe. I need a sign from the universe. You know what I found? I found one card that was actually filled out, addressed to me, in a completely separate drawer that was entirely unrelated from the box of blank cards. And it was addressed to me, and it was what felt like a farewell message of like, I love you, and as you continue to grow, please know how much I love you and how proud I am of you. It was the eeriest thing. I wept like a baby, of course, but the most amazing thing about it was that she never ever sent cards. And in the card, she wrote, she was like, "I'm so happy that this is the first one I ever finally sent you." She never sent it.
never sent it.
And the
But
universe
didn't she?
gave it
But
to me.
didn't she?
Didn't she? The universe gave it to me in the moment that I needed it. Amazing. Chills every time. Wept like a baby.
That's
Oh
lovely.
my God. I
Yeah.
love that.
So The point is, don't send the card.
The point is, in honor of your mom, I think you should write a bunch of heartfelt cards to people and then hide them around your home.
Yes.
And then when
and
you
then when
pass,
I die, everyone's
everyone will get a beautiful
Oh my
ego
God.
boost.
I love it. Okay, the last one I wanted to talk about today, because this was one of our first conversations that we had. It was about all the Spanish learning. So, okay, give Drew and our listeners a little background on your journey through Spanish.
Thank you.
Oh, I
Thank
can't
you.
wait. Gracias.
Gracias a ustedes por esa oportunidad.
Oh,
So my mom is Puerto Rican. My dad is a white guy from Indiana. And so I grew up originally bilingual, like totally bilingual. I would only speak in Spanish to my mom and English to my dad. And we lived in Puerto Rico till I was 5.
Wow.
I did preschool and kindergarten there. And then kinder. And
Kinder.
and then we moved to Virginia. And within a year, I lost all my Spanish. We just all totally assimilated, forgot everything by the time I was 6. And then just have been, starting in like middle school, have just been on a lifelong journey to try to get it back.
Yeah.
And I have a very like complicated relationship with it because I really love Spanish. I love being Puerto Rican, especially
Especially this
Super Bowl.
year.
especially after the
Super
Super
Bowl?
Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second the halftime show was over, I got a text from a white friend and it just said, "I'm so jealous this is your culture."
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like, love being Puerto Rican, love the Spanish language. But I think like I've always felt like a half step out of the culture. I mean, part of it is like I'm in the diaspora. And then, but also like I think because, the funny thing about learning a language completely, forgetting it, and then trying to relearn it starting at age 12 is that you can learn it like it's not like I can just open a door and it all comes back. I had to relearn every word, but I was able to grab it like much faster. I basically had to be told each word like once or twice and I could get it. So I was able to learn a lot faster. My accent sounds a lot more legit. So I'm able to get to a place that probably someone who started at 12 who had no connection to the language, I'm able to get way farther than them. But I will never get to the place where I sound like a native speaker. So I'm in this very funny middle space that I feel very self-conscious about.
Okay.
Because if I talk to native speakers in Spanish, they know immediately something is up.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, but it's funny because like my Spanish is so good that they're like, either this white girl is a genius or this Latin person has had a head injury. Like those are the only two possible ways for how I speak.
yeah.
And I can't hear it because it's me. So, right? So it's like you don't know what your own voice sounds like. But it's a combination of like having to relearn grammar. So like obviously I'm going to mess up like the finer points. Like
Subjunctive can eat
Right.
my whole
Right.
ass.
Right. Like if I'm trying to say something complicated, like I wish I would have, like
Yeah.
good luck. I'm not,
Like,
they're
I'm
never
out.
going to get that.
That's when you just find a different. You dance around
just
the grammar.
right.
Dance
Yeah.
around the grammar.
And my accent is apparently like I can't hear my own voice, but my accent is apparently a train wreck because it's like I'm Puerto Rican, but I also when I was 14 spent a summer in Spain.
Yeah,
Then I
yeah.
lived in Costa Rica for a minute. I also grew up here.
Yeah.
So like I don't know what other people are hearing. I think what they're hearing is like when Nicole Kidman plays an American, and you're like it's
You're like,
almost there.
We think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
What is happening?
I love that.
So I
That's
think
such a
that's what Spanish speakers are hearing when I talk. And so I think so anyway, but I've kind of my whole life, and what the essay is about is a little bit about like part of that is about me wanting to learn a language, part of that is me trying to find my way back into a culture that I feel separated from.
Yeah.
And also part of it is like getting to a place where I'm like, hey man, I'm in my late 40s. This just might be as good as it's going to get. And so maybe instead of constantly chasing this level of perfection with Spanish, maybe we just we rest here and focus on the connection that it brings us, the relationships that it allows us, and just try to like be forgiving with myself.
I think immersion would change that. That's my advice.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
I think don't accept anything less than perfect.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Why don't you go
You have to
live?
keep working on it, okay? Pack up and move. Oh my God.
I think that's what prevented me from like learning Spanish at the way that I could have.
Oh, interesting.
Because I was like, if it's not perfect, I don't want to say it. And it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, just saying it is how you learn it.
I wonder, and I don't know this is a theory I'm floating for the first time ever, but I wonder if some of that, you and I thinking that is an American approach to language, right? Most
Yeah.
Americans speak one, or not most, so many Americans speak one language. And I think in America, especially in the last several years,
Yep.
we do a lot of policing and gatekeeping about English speaking, right? We talk a lot about accents and we worry about like, oh, this is correct or not correct. And I think
Yeah.
what I try to talk about in this essay is like, the point of language is connection. That's the only point of it. It's to communicate and connect. So if somebody who's not a native English speaker says something to me in a sentence where the words might not be in the order that I would choose, but I still got them, then we have communicated and it's done its job. And I do not care. I do not care if the grammar is perfect. I just don't. And I think I had to remember if I allow that for non-native English speakers, then I have to allow that for myself.
It's exactly like, for whatever reason, I don't give myself the same grace of like, when I'm speaking to someone whose first language is French or Spanish and they fuck up grammar, I'm not like, I don't get it.
And also I'm impressed.
And fuck you for trying.
Never. And I'm impressed that they know another language. And another thing I think we don't ever talk about is sometimes when a non-native English speaker speaks English to you, they will use turns of phrase that are so beautiful because they are thinking outside the box that they will use language in a new and surprising way. And I feel like we never talk about that. I was listening to an interview one time on NPR, and someone was being interviewed, and they were a native Russian speaker, and the host said something, they like made some point, and the guest goes, yes, this is big truth. And I thought, what a beautiful way to say when something's very true. This is big truth.
This is big truth.
Like that was like 20 years ago, and I still remember it. But like, what a lovely turn of phrase that you only get because they don't speak quote unquote perfectly. Like you get a new window into language that's very beautiful. So anyway, I try, and of course, like, giving advice to someone else is so different than taking it for yourself, right?
Of course.
So of course I'm saying all this in the book about like you should just embrace your imperfections. Meanwhile, it's hard to get there on your own. Right?
Well, that was going to be the next question is, do you have any advice that you are working on taking?
So much. Yeah, I think, that's one of them.
I know.
Tell me about it. We're a work in progress over here, Alex. Yeah, I think that I give a lot of advice about not having to be perfect. I think I also give a lot of advice like your value is not your productivity.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to not always be, I think we live in this like hustle grind culture, especially New York. New York feels to me like the absolute like nexus of that because you get every biggest overachiever from every hometown in America, and then they all come here and then they're all trying to overachieve around you. Like,
oh my God, yes.
So like no New Yorker will ever be like, hey, you should knock off early today. You should put your feet up. Absolutely not.
No, you're totally right.
No.
If you leave work at 6:30, someone's like, you going to your second job? Because you got time for a second one. Yeah.
Yes.
And probably they are.
God.
No one in New York will ever tell you, hey, you should slow down. Hey, you should relax. And like, or like you'll have a day where you don't do anything, like accomplish anything, and then you'll feel like, ugh. And somebody said to me one time, I was like, I had such a dumb day. I didn't achieve anything. I didn't do anything. I didn't knock anything off my list. But I had like I'd relaxed. I had like seen a friend and blah, blah, blah. And this person said to me, they were like, your value isn't your productivity.
Yeah.
And it sounds so simple, but they blew my mind when they said that because I was like, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, in doing nothing, I have reframed as on days when I'm doing nothing, I don't use that word anymore or that phrase.
What do you say?
I say I am giving myself time to recharge. I am refilling my cup. I am allowing myself to sleep. Like I like
llenando mi corazón.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh my God, ¿de dónde eres?
Wow.
Oh, gracias por preguntar.
Wow. Mira esa gringa.
This
flew by.
Can I ask one final question?
Of course.
This is something that I find so fascinating. A dear friend of mine said, no matter how much advice you ask for and how much advice people give you, you're never going to take it, is her philosophy. And I have found that to be very true for myself, is that I'll be like, guys, help. What should I do on this XYZ circumstance? And at the end of the day, I'm just going to do what I need to do anyway. I don't know what the question is. It's like, I guess it's, do you believe that people genuinely want to take advice? Or do you think that people just want to have sounding boards to ultimately make their own decision anyway?
I think this is actually a great question. Some people, I think, really do process things out loud. And so in that sense, in talking it through with somebody, asking for their advice, sometimes that helps you arrive at what you want to do.
Yeah.
But a thing that I do think is true is when people give you advice, it may not be that you do the thing they say, but if you go around and ask a bunch of people for advice, and you pay attention to how you feel in your gut when they give you the advice, that will help you figure out what to do. Like if I was like, should I do not know how to swim, should I go snorkeling? And if you were like, absolutely yes, YOLO. And Alex was like, hey, maybe don't. And I feel in my gut, because you're going to have a reaction to each. Every time somebody gives you advice, you're going to have a reaction in your gut. And if you pay attention to that, sometimes somebody giving you very wrong advice will help you realize the thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not the words that are helping you arrive,
love
but it's the
that.
feeling, the reaction that you're
The gut
getting.
reaction.
It's like flipping a coin, and rather than like letting the heads or tails determine it, it's how did you feel when you saw the heads? How did you feel when you
What
saw
were
the
you
tails?
hoping for when
yeah,
when
what
it was
did
in
you
the
want
air?
it to?
Oh,
Yeah.
So I really do, because
Yeah.
there have been times in my life where someone's told me with their whole chest a piece of advice, and I'm vibrating so much like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
But that has given me, they have inadvertently given me my answer.
Wow.
I love that.
There it is.
Love. Well, this was
Dynamite.
always.
This was a delight. You were
As
both
always.
an absolute delight.
As always, please see Jenny. See Jenny's writing. See Jenny's writing at Late Night at Seth Meyers.
Yes.
Watch Jenny on Late Night. Buy her book coming out. Pre-order it. Where can people pre-order?
They can pre-order it on the internet. If you just Google it, it will come up. There are a bunch of places you can pre-order it online. Anywhere you would order a book, you can order this book.
Dreams.
And it'll be physically in stores on June 2nd, 2026.
That's so cool. You're going to
Hell
have
yeah.
a book in like Barnes & Noble on the Strand.
And you're doing a little tour.
I'm going to do a book tour. That's right. I'll do a book release performance at Littlefield in Brooklyn on June 2nd. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to do my advice show. And then I will be in Chicago on Thursday, June 4th, Portland on Friday, June 5th, and Los Angeles Saturday, June 6th.
Amazing.
Boom.
And I'll
Check
get
out.
to all of those cities by
Yes.
rolling up my clothes,
Not folding them.
not folding,
Not folding
like
them.
a chump.
And make
the
sure you
Marie-
send us a postcard from each city.
Yes.
You're going to be sad that you asked because I will.
No, I can't wait.
Can't wait for 4. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you guys for having
Thanks
me.
for
Hey,
listening,
Jenny.
watching, folks. That's listening, watching. That's not.
Listening, watching.
And that's
our
what we
new merch.
get. That's the beautiful thing we get when someone who doesn't speak English as a native speaker
And honestly,
speaks our language.
I'm allowing the imperfection to shine.
Exactly.
Okay, bye.